social distancing. I have to say that I found it to be physical distancing, but I've had more connection with people all over the world in the last year than ever. And it's really exciting to have this kind of community starting. So I'm excited about today. We're going to talk about leaning into the emergent future, which I'll explain what that is and what that means in a minute. But I just want to have you just welcome yourself being here and kind of create a state of presence and recognizing that we're here with 75 people from around the world so far and people coming in constantly. And we're a community that has come together. But why have we come together? So for me, I don't suspect that anybody would come to this unless you were people who wanted to make a difference, who wanted to find more wholeness, more fulfillment in your life, to express your soul's calling, to have your life make a difference. And that's really what my intention is for this call today, is to open up whatever it is to take so that you're really living in your highest self, your highest purpose, your soul's longing is being expressed. And we have 2 hours together, so that's not a lot to cause some transformation. But I'm committed to that and committed to opening. I want to say that this is, while it appears to be informative, I really want to make it as experiential as possible. Information does not, excuse me, information does not cause transformation. Connection, dissolving the separation between us is what really causes what we're going to be talking about today through the day. So I always like to start out with a little invocation. So maybe you could just come together with me and feel your feet on the floor. I'm going to light a candle here for us to signify the one light that we're coming together, all these bright lights, if my lighter will work here, all these bright lights around the world. And so I'm going to just have this lit as a reminder of that. And I invite you to just take a moment to bring yourself into a state of presence. Just kind of taking a couple breaths with me. Feeling yourself settle into the body. We'll be doing more kinds of things like this as we go, bringing our awareness inward, noticing any emotions that are there, any physical sensations, any chatter in the head. Kind of just let go of whatever it took to get here. I know we live busy lives, and it's good to just kind of take a few breaths and let go of everything. And welcome yourself, your larger self here. And we dedicate the work that we do today to all of life. And so we honor the invisible forces, the spirits, the seven directions. We honor the earth and the ancestors. So much to be grateful for on this beautiful planet that nurtures us, nourishes us, brings us beauty. And so we honor the spirits of the north and the spirit of the ancestors, and we honor the spirits of the east, the spirit of new beginnings. May this call be for you a new beginning. It's also the spirit of space and air. So we take a deep breath, recognizing the infinite potentiality of the breath, the space that we live in, the fecund space that where everything comes from. And we welcome the spirits of the east, and we honor and welcome the spirits of the south, the home of the sun, the light that we are and that we come from, the light of our ancestors that's in our blood, our body, our bones. And we welcome that, and we welcome the spirit of fun and play and connection with each other. And we welcome the spirits of the West, the spirit of water, the spirit of the emotions. And we really honor our emotions are the fabric that connects us all. So we really welcome our emotions. And maybe some will come up during this hour that I invite you to stay with and really explore those emotions. And we invite all the creatures, the two-leggeds, the four-leggeds, the creepers, the crawlers, the winged ones, the finned ones, all the invisible forces in to guide us today so that we can have this call make a real difference, not only in our own lives, but through our lives, a difference in the world and the planetary evolution that we are right smack in the middle of. So thank you. Thank you all for being here. It's just a delight to be with you. And so let's talk a little bit about this emergent future that I'm talking about. And I was thinking of a metaphor yesterday of imagine yourself standing in a river, okay? And here you are, the site's familiar. Let's say you're at the Yuba River in Nevada City or the Thames or wherever you are, you're in a river, you know the place, you're standing in the river. And imagine that the river is actually time and that time is running through and you're standing in the river. And there's downstream, which is the past, and there's what's coming for you, towards you is the future. It's coming from upstream. And imagine you're just standing there. So time is literally, in this sense, running through you. We think in terms of linear time, that time begins at birth and ends at death, and it's this linearity. But in fact, in a cosmic and quantum perspective, time is this movement. And what we do, we're facing, for the most part, downstream. And our actions and our manifestations and what we are doing with our lives is a response to looking downstream. In other words, we're looking at the past and we bring the past in, and that decides our actions. So this call today for me is about turning the other way and looking upstream. And when you look upstream, things are different. Things are coming. Things are different than they were when they went downstream. And there, you know, if you think of a river, there may be dams, there may be droughts, there may be floods, there may be people irrigating, but the water and what comes with the water of time is different. And so we shift our attention from what has been and what is going downstream to what is coming towards us from the future. And in that way, we're here in the present, because the present and the past and the future are all here right now. It's never the same river, but we're here right now. There is no other time than here right now, but we can lean into the current and listen more carefully and hear the emergent future. What is it that's calling us from the future? Not let's get back to America, be great again, or let's get back to normal, or all the things that we've been saying. I can't wait till this is over till we can get back to normal. Do we really want normal? Do we want the kind of normal that takes babies away from their parents? Do we want the kind of normal that has genocide, that has, you know, the incompletions of slavery and native genocide and atomic weapons and bombs? No, we want to lean into the evolutionary future that's coming towards us, and it's very quiet. But if we're still and we're quiet and we're embodied and we're present, we can lean into that future that's coming to us from upstream. So the issue that we're dealing with in terms of this is really about manifestation. How do we manifestation? How do we make a difference? How do we become a spiritual activist and actually make something happen that makes a change? I don't know about you, but I get pretty frustrated when I work on something and it doesn't seem to make a change. So what I really want to work with you today is dealing with this. How do we make a change, not only in our own life, because when we make a change and deal with our inner life, our inner world, we make a change in the world. And that's, I'll talk a lot more about that probably, but that's the divine law. That is the divine law. The divine law is not two. The divine law is everything is connected and affects everything else. It's not a bumper sticker. It's really how it works. So we do our inner work and the world changes. But we're so focused on the outer world, about changing things out there, changing them, changing my partner, changing the politics, but the real work is the shadow work in here that we're doing. And to feed that, we lean upstream and we look. So things that we have our attention on are no longer usurped. There's somebody waiting to get in, by the way. Whoever's entering people in, Laura's waiting to get in. Do I need to admit her in, or Taylor, can you do that?
Oh, Michael, I'm doing it. She's joining.
Okay, great. Sorry, just caught my attention. I don't want to leave anybody out here ever. So we tend to look at the world as this out there phenomena. Like even looking at each other on this screen right now, it looks like, oh, I'm over here and you're over there in Madison, in London, in, Cairo, in wherever you are, that appears to be how the world is. But there's also, wait a minute, you're occurring over here in my nervous system. If I am present and I am here, then you're actually occurring over here. So one of the things we do in the work, like I do with my teacher, Thomas Hubel, is that we look at ourselves, seeing another, seeing us. And we begin to go, oh, I can kind of feel what Jackie's feeling or what Kyle's feeling. They are having some emotions. I can kind of get a sense of their body in my body. And so we move into this kind of connected place rather than the out there worldview, the exterior worldview. We begin to see, oh, actually, all of the world is playing out in the interior world. So if I can step into that, I can step into my power to really make a difference, not only in my own life, but in other lives, because I become connected at a visceral level, at an emotional level. Emotions are the fabric of our connection with each other. Embodiment is the instrument that allows us to tap into our soul's calling. So the issue that we're working with in this particular seminar is, well, what about if I want to create change, then I have to shift from trying to change that outer world to looking to see what needs to be not so much changed, but seen in the inner world. 40 to 95% of all human behavior comes from looking downstream. It's habitual. It's from the past. And very few people, but this is where the real power is that we go into this power. The power source is, how much can I inhabit my interior world? Does that make sense? Am I making sense, or am I just sounding goofy to people? Yeah? Okay, just want to make sure. So that's why I teach the mystical traditions. Many of you know me from years of teaching embodied shamanism. I've expanded that because there's so many other mystical traditions and ways of doing that. I certainly haven't let go of the shamanic practices, but I've tended to expand it into looking at how can we create the kind of evolutionary change that needs to happen so that we don't destroy ourselves, which is really, I mean, if you're looking upstream, that's where we're headed. It looks like that. It looks like this tidal wave of just, decay and destruction, and doesn't look good, except when you look at the human spirit And life wants to live. We are the embodiment of hundreds of thousands of years of evolution that's right here. Our ancestors have been through war, famine, political unrest, genocide, burning at the stake. All of that is in your body. All of that is in your blood and your bones. It is your epigenetic gift from your ancestors. That's why it's important that we honor the ancestors. So we come here to make change. We want change in the world. Unfortunately, change does not come by being what we're not. It comes from being what one is. Because what happens then is that we abandon that we'd like to become something, and instead we are exactly where we are. Because if we're in that river of time, it's always right now. It's always right now. And so why would we want to change something to be something else when this is how it is? What we want to do in the present is really pay attention to how it is so that the grounds and the opportunity become ripe, become apparent for real change to happen. Not change like moving the furniture, deck furniture on the Titanic, but change that is from an evolutionary place, from a soul place. You know, we're going to talk about why are you here later on in the program. Why did your soul incarnate at this particular crazy time? You know, who knows? Well, you do. You do at a very deep level because you are connected to life itself. So what do I mean by becoming a mystic? So we have this notion of a mystic as someone who sits off in a cave and chants and spends their life or laying on nails or whatever. And there are people who actually have done that and do that still. And but really, in the mystical traditions, the heart of it is direct revelation. We're not looking out to the outer world. We're not looking to religion. We're not looking to the latest fad. We're allowing ourselves to become a vessel that is open enough to receive direct revelation, to have a direct experience of the sacred, to transcend the established belief systems, including our own, to bypass the intellect, to dissolve the identification with the ego, with our story. We have a story. All of us have a story, but you're not your story. I have a hand, right? Right? Yes, I have a hand. Am I my hand? No, I'm not my story either. I have a story, but I'm not that story. The story defines the limits of possibility that are available to me, though. So it's very important to learn what our story is, how it's shaped. What is the story that's living me? What is the story that's living me? I'm not living the story. The story is living me. So that confines us. So a mystic's job is to go in there, to not try to fix something because nothing's broken, because we live in a body that wants to live, that for hundreds of thousands of years has been evolving to live. But we have a very intelligent body, finely tuned, intelligent nervous system that when we had trauma in our life, when we had scary things happen, when we had issues in our family life, that the nervous system said, whoa, this is too much. This is too much. Don't go there. I'm going to shut down. My parents are screaming at each other. I'm going to shut down. My father molested me. I'm going to shut down. My brother beat me up. I'm going to shut down. So we have all these parts that our nervous system, because it's intelligent, froze parts of ourselves, shut parts of ourselves down. They're all in our body, all of these frozen parts. They're the past, the river that flowed down here. Oh, and grabbed a piece of wood. I grabbed a toy. I grabbed this. I grabbed that. It's all in my body. I'm standing in the river, but I've got frozen parts I can't feel that are locked into my story. So this work of the mystic is to use everything that happens in our life, everything that's happening is in our culture, as an occasion for awakening, for expanded awareness, to become aware of being aware. I'm going to talk about the mystical steps and how we go through them in this particular way that I've put it together, which is just taking from many other traditions and finding what worked for me in my own life. So the tools of the mystic are meditation, contemplation, and prayer. We have to get still enough to hear what's coming downstream towards us from upstream. We have to ask for what it is we want. If we're here to make a difference in the world, then we honor the spirit of our ancestors to call them in, to ask and to pray for that to happen, to allow our lineage to emerge. Much of the frozen parts of ourself, unfortunately or fortunately, I don't think it's either one actually, but our ancestral wounding, familial wounding, cultural wounding. It's not just your unique life that's got parts frozen. We live in a sea of trauma. And so a sea of trauma just means frozen past. That's all I'm talking about when I say trauma. It's very, elegant to talk about trauma these days, but it's just frozen past. Another word for that is karma. It's things that are frozen in our body. So, so the importance of doing our own shadow work is essential to the preparation for doing our soul work and doing the work that we were born here to do. You were born at this time. You were born into the age of Trump. You were born into the age of atomic weapons. You were born into the age of climate change. Obviously, you're here, and this is what you're here for. But what is your unique expression into the world that allows you to carry out your soul's mission? We're going to do a journey later on to really discover that, to look at that more deeply. So I want to talk about 3 key practices. First of all, I just don't want to go on talking forever without opening up. Does anybody have a comment, a question, or something about what I've said that needs clarity? Please raise your hand, your virtual hand, or wave your other hand. We're going on 4 pages here, so so better to raise your virtual hand probably. But everybody good so far with where we are? Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, good. So 3 practices for becoming a cultural mystic. This is what I teach in the Way of the Mystic program. We have 2 programs. Well, I have lots of programs, but 2 that are coming up. Part of why I'm doing this is to expose you to that and see if it's something you would want to do. The Way of the Mystic is a 7-week with 3 extra coaching sessions along with it. And then the 6-month advanced course is for people who already have a strong meditation practice and actually connect with what I say and kind of go, yeah, I know that, or I have a sense of that. So the 3 key practices, though, that are at the foundation of becoming a cultural mystic. The first one is the art of presencing. Now, what do I mean by that? So presencing has turned presence into a verb because it's an action in the moment. It's the act of bringing presence, process, and perception together so they merge into a laser kind of focus. And the focus is not outward, it's presencing inward. I'm zooming in my lens into the interiority, into my physical, emotional, mental, and relational capacities. What is my capacity? Oftentimes, people have been coming to me, some of the people that I coach, and saying, I'm so stressed, I can't take this COVID thing. I'm just so overwhelmed and so stressed. But when you look at stress, it's really a word that obfuscates what's really going on. It's like saying, I'm sick. You're sick. Oh, do you have stage 4 cancer or do you have a cold? It doesn't really tell you anything. Stress is the same way. Stress says, oh, I'm so stressed, but it doesn't get at the underneath the symptom of it and get to the issue is a capacity issue. It says when I'm stressed that my current capacity is insufficient to meet the challenges that are here in front of me. That's what stress is. And so much of this work is how do I increase my capacity to hold what's coming downstream towards me? How do I adapt? How do I open? How do I heal? And how do I literally make more space in myself so that the water of the river flows through me and that I am a vessel of transformation because it's running through me. It's not getting stopped and pushing me down further into the past. So presencing means letting go of everything that isn't essential. It's aligning with our soul's journey. It's going beyond the boundaries of our identity, of our narrative, of our ego. And by the way, our identity has only one purpose. Some of you have been on my calls before, know it's one purpose only. What do you think the purpose of your identity is? Just think about it. It's its own survival. That's all the ego is here for, is to survive as itself. But you're not your ego. You're not your narrative. You have a narrative like I have a hand. So presencing is to go in and recognize the edges. And that's why everything in culture is an opportunity, because when we have difficulties, when we have challenges, when we have things we want to push away and not meet, those things are the very things that we need to lean into, to look and say, oh, what's really happening here in my body? What am I actually feeling? But we're such a disembodied culture. We're disemotional culture too. We have, many people have such a hard time even knowing what they're feeling. We feel with our mind. Feeling is very different than emotions, by the way. Feeling has to do with our mind. Emotions have to do with they originate and are born in the body. Feelings can trigger emotions, but they're very different. But that's a whole nother area. The main thing is to presence ourselves. Presencing is creating a full-bodied listening with curiosity, wonder, awe. It's allowing ourselves to question our strongly held beliefs and returning to our natural self. So that's presencing. That's the first step. And it's to get us to our natural state. It allows us to not control, but to master the mind and the ego and let the heart and the body and the soul take over. So it allows us, there's this thing of original sin. St. Augustine really did a number on the world with this original sin thing. I mean, really, you ever look at a baby? Was it born bad? Come on. No, nobody's born bad. We're born with original goodness. And there are barriers to the expression of that goodness. So by the same token, the work I do is never about fixing anything. There's nothing broken. You have an intelligent nervous system that has shut down parts of your fullest self-expression. You don't need to fix anything. You just need to pay attention. You just need to presence yourself. And when you begin to presence yourself, you go into the second state of the cultural mystic, the cultural path. And in that place, we become a witness. What does that mean? Becoming a witness. I'm not talking about a Jehovah's Witness that's looking at a story out there. I'm talking about being a witness, being aware of that which is aware. Can we become aware of that which is aware? Really, how do we do that? Well, we've presenced ourselves and we meditate. And you'll notice, those of you who are meditators know this place where you're watching yourself thinking, having these emotions, having these feelings. But wait a minute, am I too? No. There's awareness and there's what's being seen. So we become aware of awareness, of consciousness itself is observing me. Huge latitude and opportunity for growth and expansion. The more precise we are about what we see and what we experience, the more we bear witness to it. And it expands our capacity. The more we notice what's happening, we go in deeper and deeper. We are more aware. We don't have to believe our thoughts. What a curious thing. You don't have to believe your thoughts. You have thoughts. But we hold these strongly held opinions and thoughts and we die for them. You know, we challenge the capital of the United States over our beliefs, you know, instead of going inside and looking what's really going on. We're frightened, we're terrorized, we don't know how to deal with the things, the changes, but we're looking at someone out there to blame, something to happen. Our identity is in action. So we pay, in witnessing, we pay attention to how we pay attention. And notice what pulls us away from being present, what pulls us into the repetitive thinking that comes from the past. I think Rilke, Rainer Maria Rilke, those of you who are on the solstice call with me know I'm a big Rilke fan. But he had this amazing realization that I think is a mystical realization. And he called it, I don't remember the German word, but it's called in-seeing. In-seeing. Isn't that a great word? In-seeing. It's a kind of perception that takes place in the body, and it requires the observer to be both the seer and the seen. That's witnessing. You become the seer and the seen at the same time. That takes practice. That takes meditation. That takes contemplation. What does that even mean? So I invite you to practice in seeing. And in that, we go deeper into the interiority, the vast richness of our interior world. And again, meditation is that way of stilling the mind and going beyond it, becoming the witness, going beyond it, seeing the miracle that everything in life is absolutely a miracle. So witnessing is the second stage. The third stage is embracing. Ram Dass would say, loving it all, embracing. Whatever is arising, can you love that? Can you actually give yourself to, okay, I can love that. And if you can't love it, can you love not loving it? At least get that close to it. Allow yourself to sneak up on it in some way so that you actually can access it there, because it's love that heals. It's connection that heals. It's awareness that heals. There's nothing to fix that awareness can't heal, and healing is integrated. Healing is becoming more whole. So we embrace, we explore our thoughts, our emotions, our physical sensations, our relationship to each other, our relationship to the world. We bring relational intimacy to ourselves and the world. And that, connecting with the world as it is true alchemy. That's turning leaden consciousness into golden consciousness. So the issue is, can I bring love and awareness to whatever arises, the good, the bad, the ugly? I'm wanting to give you an example, and I'll give you one. It's a little bit tender with me, but I like that because it's edgy, and I like edgy. So I live in this beautiful home in the woods on the ocean. My garden is on the beach, literally. And 2 days ago, I got evicted. And I love this place. I didn't plan to be anywhere else. Even if I went somewhere, I was planning to come back here. But anyway, I've lost my house, and I got very angry. You know, I had lots of emotion coming up. And I just, you know, wanted to strike out in anger and just, you know, how could you do that? You know, I love it here. There's no reason for that. So I went to the mat, because that's what you do when you get triggered. You go to the mat, you sit, and you be with it. And so I really got present to what was going on. And underneath that anger, I went into it and I looked, and I said, where is that anger? Oh, that anger is, right here, you know, right here. And I looked at that emotion, and I just sat with it, and I became aware of being aware of the emotion I was feeling. And I looked at the subtleties, and I went, but what am I actually angry at? What am I actually angry with? Yeah, a commitment was broken. There was some betrayal. But what I saw when I started to witness that was, what was really going on was, I felt abandoned. That was actually what was happening. I felt abandoned. I went, oh, wow. So I was doing this processing yesterday. It happened to be the anniversary, 73rd, I'm 75 and a half, 73rd anniversary of my mother's suicide. And I'm doing this work, right? And I'm like, lots of stuff coming out. And I realized all the levels of abandonment of my childhood that I had, like, I mean, I've gone through those things, but I had been strong in the face of it, and I hadn't grieved the level. So I took the opportunity yesterday, and I spent hours in meditation grieving the loss. So something, and at the end, I was so excited about the possibility of the new adventure. What's going to happen next? You know, I tell everybody, you need to explore the unknown. You need to go into the unknown. Okay, well, Stone, here's your opportunity to go into the unknown. So I have no idea where I'm going to be in 2 months from now, or what's going to happen. And I'm 75, and there's COVID, and it's rainy and cold in Canada, and all these things came up, but they were all just story. No, I'm standing in the river, and I'm feeling at the core of my very being what it feels like to be abandoned. And then I felt, wow, there's a lot of people in this world that feel abandoned. How many people here have a sense of feeling abandoned sometime? Huh? Yeah. So if I can actually integrate that feeling, my own abandonment, I can be in service to the world, to those people who feel abandoned. I can live in a place of uncertainty and actually the mystery at a deeper level, because I got evicted. So that's what we do in the way of the mystic. We take these things that come up for us, some of them very old wounds, most of them actually, particularly if they're all encompassing when they happen. And that's the whole area we talk about in the way of the mystic. We we integrate these things so we become more whole, more present, more able to move with life instead of against life, and more connected. And I think that's a really important thing. All suffering, all suffering in the world is a function of our belief, our lie that we believe that we're separate, that you're over there and I'm over here. It's not true. Yes, physically there's that separation, but where you really are, you're occurring over here. For me, for you, you're occurring over there, and so am I. So this is the model that I teach, and I want to do a little journey, but I want to just to try it out for yourself. I gave you an example of what I'm suggesting, but I want to open it up for questions or comments or sharing or anything that you'd like to express right now.
We have a great question in the chat, Michael, from two people,
Okay.
Lynn and from Joe. They ask, how do we know if it's our personal trauma or ancestral trauma, or does it matter?
Yeah, great question. It actually doesn't matter, first of all, because you're healing. You know, when you integrate these traumas, and when I say integrate, it means it's become a part of me. It's no longer a piece that's separate. When you integrate it, you heal it not only for your descendants, which is somewhat obvious if you have kids, you know, and you heal that part of you, that is separate, is alienated, is struggling, is, you know, harboring resentment. When you heal that area, you not only heal it for your descendants, you actually heal it for your ancestors. So many of these things have been handed down ancestrally or collectively or familial. Now, one of the things that you'll find in doing that work is that there's often specific energies or examples of it happening in your own life. And so when you, the part of it that is our body's part has a time signature. Like when I looked at the example I gave, when I looked at that abandonment, and there was a lot more that I didn't talk about there, but it was clearly very young. It was 2.5, you know, it was almost pre-verbal. And those are the sometimes hardest ones to get to because they're all encompassing. So yeah, it doesn't matter. And your ancestors and your descendants will be very grateful if you do this work. So that's the part I can say. I hope that answers your question. Great. Any other questions? Any hands?
I'm not seeing any at this moment.
Okay. Well, let's do a little meditation, a little journey. So I want you to get in mind a difficulty that you're dealing with, a challenge, something that is a barrier to manifestation in your life, something that's holding you back. So take a moment just to think about that. What's a challenge, a difficulty? It could be difficulty with a boss or a spouse, could be a challenge in your financial, emotional, relational life. It could be a barrier to getting the job you want, making money. Could be something dealing with COVID and family. Just allow yourself to to discover one of those. Okay. So we're going to go on a little journey, and the journey is going to take you through the 3 steps, and you're going to use the I'm just noticing somebody's waiting to get in there. So I'm going to let you guys take care of that. I just wanted to to make sure they got in before the journey here. So let's close our eyes. And I invite you to just start by just feeling yourself sitting and your weight. Feel your weight. Feel your butt on the chair and your feet on the floor. Maybe have your back a little bit straight. And notice your breath. And we're presencing ourselves. We're focusing ourselves inward. And we begin to notice the body. So we're holding in mind this difficulty. We're noticing our breath. And we're going into the body with this difficulty in mind and the intention to discover what there is to discover about this difficulty and about our relationship to it. So just go through your body, and as you think of that, what arises in your body? Just notice where the energy is flowing, where it's moving, maybe your hands or your feet. Notice any areas that maybe there's some pain or some stuckness. And also notice any kind of numbness in your body. Being numb is not nothing. That's actually a very vital place where something might be frozen. So we look at our physical relationship to the difficulty. Perhaps I feel it in my throat, my belly, my chest. Just staying with the body, letting go of the thoughts, and just really softer focus into the body as I recognize the vastness of the interior. And yet, does it feel cramped and tight when I think about this? Or does it feel open and flowing? And I'm becoming aware of being aware of what's happening in my body. I'm witnessing. I'm really holding that difficulty, and yet I'm bringing awareness to my physical sensations or lack of them. So my awareness includes what's being aware of what I'm aware of. And perhaps I see an image inside my body, or feel a pain, or get a sense of a color or shape in my body. And I meet that, I touch it. I say hello to it. I connect. I ask it if it has something to tell me, something to show me about this difficulty. How is it impacting my body? Being with this difficulty, this challenge. And breathing. And then I let that go, and I expand my awareness to include the emotions that I'm feeling. What emotion am I feeling? Can I name it? Can I locate it? Where does the emotion arise from in my body? I let myself feel that emotion. Or I notice that I can't feel that emotion. And that's information too. It's all information as long as I stay present, witnessing, opening, deepening, in seeing. And so I have that emotion. Perhaps an earlier emotion comes up for myself. Just notice that. An earlier time that I felt this way. Yeah. When I was, that same thing happened. This has happened before. And then I may just get an energy, but I may get an image. I may see myself at an earlier age dealing with this same issue. And I work my way back to the earliest memory of this emotion, this difficulty, this challenge. And I see myself at a younger age. And I invite my younger self to come sit on my lap or sit next to me. And I put my arms around him or her. And I say, that was really hard. That was really scary. I remember that. You were so sad. I want you to know that it worked out. I'm here. And I love you. And what happened to you shouldn't have happened, but it did. But I'm here to nurture you and to love you. And I recognize this difficulty as an area that I haven't loved. And you say whatever you would say to a child to relieve them of the struggle and the pain and the suffering, the discomfort. You soothe and you nurture that younger being. You ask them if there's anything they need, anything you can provide for them. And you give that younger self the love that you've been longing for, that you've been looking for in the outer world when it's only available from the inner world. And then just let's take a few breaths. Knowing you can always come back, you let that go. And maybe you saw something and maybe you didn't this time, but you opened a door, a portal to possibility of an expanded self, an expanded awareness. Let's take a few breaths together. And begin to bring ourselves back. And let's move the body a little bit. Just kind of stretch and move. Yeah. Oh. Great. Okay. So let me get a better picture of you here. See how everybody's doing? You are so beautiful. Look at you. Wow. And I invite people to turn on their camera and to, you know, if it works, if you don't want to, that's fine, but to turn your camera on and allow yourself actually to be seen, to be felt. So let's open it up for a minute to share any experience you had or any questions, anything that came up for you that we can work with or talk about or share with people. Yeah, please, Janie. Can you unmute yourself?
Hi, Michael.
Hi, Janie.
I'm back again.
Yes, I know. I was so happy to see you.
Yeah, I feel like everything you're speaking to and about is so on point for me right now. And what I noticed in this meditation was, I think this is really the first time I have a numb foot. I have a neurological something. And it was really the first time I felt like I actually just sat with it. And I said, there's no rush, you know, defrosting, thawing takes time. I can even feel in my heart, like the feelings rising, like there's something there and I just don't need to rush it. And I feel like it's the first time I just said, it's okay. You know, patience, I'm going to show up. I'm not going anywhere, you know, and your own personal, you know, vulnerable sharing. Thank you about, you know, this whole abandonment that I think a lot of us are holding on a really deep level. So anyway, I'm really happy to be here again, and I'm really looking forward to doing this course with you.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you in it too. It's really great. Thank you, Janie. It's wonderful. Yes, I want to say something, you know, awakening is not a destination. Mm-hmm. It's really not a destination. We have this constant looking as soon as I get here. You know, it's like our whole life. As soon as I go to school, I'm going to be great. You know, as soon as I get with the other kids, oh God, as soon as I get in high school, it's all going to be better. I'll have friends. Well, you know, whoa, you know how that turned out, cliques and all. Oh my God, as soon as I get into college, it's all going to be great. Oh my God, this is hard. What did I do this for? I can't wait till I get out and get a husband or a wife and start a family. Oh God, I got a family. All these kids are driving me crazy. I can't wait till they go to college, you know? And then it's like, oh, what am I doing with this person? I don't even like this person. What's going on here? As soon as I get a divorce, it's all going to work out. It already worked out. There's nowhere to get to. You're standing in the river and the past is down there going that way and the future is coming this way, but you're always here. You're never where you're not. You're always where you are. That sounds silly, but most people are not here. Presence is always here. Mostly we're not. It takes a discipline to bring ourselves into presence, to bring ourselves into witnessing. And it takes a lot of commitment, knowing there's something bigger that you're here to do in the world. It takes that to be able to do the work of going into the shadow and saying, hey, honey, I love you. That sucked what happened to you, you know, and I love you. That takes a lot, but that allows that to be integrated. And then we have more what? We have more capacity. Thank you, Janie. That's really awesome. Can't wait to do the course. So Deborah, did you put the link for the course in the chat?
Deborah's gone.
Taylor? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. She had another meeting.
Rainbow's had her hand up. You can unmute yourself, Rainbow.
Oh my God. How could I have missed Rainbow? Hi, Rainbow.
Hi,
Where
Michael.
are you?
Hi, Michael. Here I am. I think I'm going to need to stand up for this one. Can you hear me okay?
Lovely smile. Hi.
Oh, well, thank you. I need to stand up for this one.
Good.
Okay, so just give me a second because there's
yeah, take your time. Take your time, love.
There's a lot here, so
yeah.
I want to be sure to be slow and really honoring of what's here.
You're being
held. I want to stay connected.
You're being held by many people, so just let that in.
I will. that's part of what's difficult is like, oh my God, there's 92 other people here, and I'm highlighted like, oh. So let me just take a moment here. I need to feel the ground under my feet here. Just taking just a second here.
We're all breathing with you.
So I want to, first thing I want to just really thank you for creating the space, and thanking everyone who's here, who's co-creating it and holding the space together. So, and there's this part of me, there's something that's knocking here. I really want to, okay, I'm going to pause here. You mentioned abandonment, and so it feels really important. There's something here that it has been waiting for a very long time, and it's ready to bring itself into the world, and it needs a village to bring itself into, and it feels like you are kind of that village that it's been needing and wanting, and so it feels like this is the time and space. And I need to acknowledge that there's a lot of kind of a sense of terror that comes with it. So there's a lot of shaking here going on. So I'm going to pause here. I'm going a little fast. So I want to pause here for just a moment. And
feel where it is in your body, Rainbow. Located.
Bring some presence here. Yeah, hang on just a second. Yeah, I just need to bring some presence here and letting it know that I'm here with it. There's like a foot stomping that goes with it. It's like, I will not abandon this part. I will not. It's like, this is important, and I will not let it be here on its own, so I will be here. I'm presencing it, and I'm here with it. And so it has me with it as kind of accompanying it into the space. So, okay, so let me just pause again, and just taking a breath here and sensing in, and there's a lot of trembling going on. So this is something that is it's old trauma. And it has come forward enough where it's like it's standing here at this edge, where it's the sense of, okay, so I'm going to pause here again. Hang on just a second. There's something about leaning into the emergent future, and what I've been being with lately is, what is my soul calling me into? What is it that is longing, that there's a longing here, something old, something deep that is longing to let go, or to be released, or to something that has been carried for a long time, and it's time to put it down. And it cannot just put it down. It actually needs somebody to like receive it, or a village, not just somebody, it needs a village to receive it. So, and you're that village. There's a deep recognition that you're that village. It's like, it's okay. It's the time is right. Okay, so I'm going to pause because I'm getting a little message. It's like, so get to it. Get to it. Okay, so I'm going to hang on just a second. I need to reconnect here. And that trembling is still present, and it's okay, and I can be here with it. So what comes in, and this is really, I'm letting this part speak, I'm not speaking for it. So I want to be sure that it needs to say what it needs to say, needs to bring itself. So, and what is here is it's saying like, I've carried this for so long, and I'm tired, and I want to belong, and it's coming from a place, this is from decades, that it has embodied the sense of not belonging, of not wanting. It was, it kind of grew up in an environment in a village that cast it out, that didn't, it's like that I was too much of this. I was a lot of it. And actually what's partly scary is here, because I'm standing here and you can sort of fully see me. And it's really scary to be seen. Part of what, okay, so I'm pausing again. It's a little trembly. Whew. Wow, okay. That sense of being cast out, the village that has cast me out, that I did not belong, because I was too slow and too fat and too this and not enough of this, and I was and all the ways in which people tried to shape me and mold me and to make me more acceptable, it failed. It never worked, and it made things worse. And so that sense of being fundamentally flawed and not belonging in the world and not being wanted, that's kind of has been with me. It's been embodied, and it's just every fiber of my being. I've carried this with me for decades, and it's ready. It's like ready to put itself down, and it can't. It needs a new village to receive it. So this is like a wanting. It's almost like a please. It's like it's standing here kind of in the doorway with what it's holding, and it's saying, please, can I give this to you? Not as in you take it on, but sort of, can you just take it from me and put it down? I can't just let it go, just sort of randomly sort of drop it. I need to give it. And I need somebody to receive it. And there's nothing that it's actually needing from you or anyone else here. There's no, like, it doesn't come from a need, or it's just, that's the only thing that it needs. It needs you just to receive, to hear it. There's also, okay, so one thing that comes with it, there's also an apology that it's been carrying, and it needs to say that. And it's not apologizing to you, it's apologizing to, this is an apology that it's carried for years too. It's apologizing to the village, to the people who cast me out. And it's that sense of apology of like, I'm so sorry that I could never be what you wanted me to be. And in fact, over the years, I've become even more of all the things that you were not acceptable. So I'm even more of that now. And there's this big apology that comes like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So, and it just needs to say that. And that's all. It doesn't need anything more than that. So.
Thank you. Thank you, Rainbow. I got it. Thank you.
Okay. So let me just take a second here. I know I'm taking up a lot of time and space. And so I wanted to, there's a little bit of a worry here. Something that's feeling a little worried of taking up too much space. And so if there's anything more that needs to be said, there's sort of like, okay, sit down and just wait for what comes. It's like, okay, all right.
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you for letting me bring this into the space, and for welcoming it.
Yeah, there's nothing to say. I got your communication, and maybe the only thing I'd say is just to notice where you've casted yourself out, and to love that part.
And that's a journey. Yes, every day. It's like, how am I showing up for myself? Yeah,
beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rainbow.
Thank you, Michael.
Lovely. Thank you for your courage. Yeah. Very nice.
Michael, Teresa she has her hand up.
Hi, Teresa. Where are you?
Hi. Hi, that was an accident. I was just trying to fill out the chat and support Rainbow. So thank you for your sharing.
Hi, Teresa. Where
I'll
are
just say
you?
hi and bye.
Where are you located?
I'm in Michigan.
Huh?
I'm in Michigan.
And how's it going
Yeah.
for you?
So,
How's the process going?
Thank you so much for. It's good. I feel like, you know, I didn't really get a lot of, actually would need to have a pen and paper and channeling writing in order to get a dialogue going with sensations in my body. But I did get, I certainly was able to feel into some sensations. So
Good. That's a good start. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks. It's never an accident when people show up, just wanted to share.
Right, I guess you're right.
All right, love. Thank you so much. Okay. Anything else that wants to be born here, wants to be expressed? Any questions or sharing or anything like that before? There's much more we can do here. I always have like 10 hours of things I want to talk about in 2 hours, but yeah, I just want to make sure, because it really is something to, this is an exchange, and your participation is what's really important for it. What I'm talking about is information is basically worthless. There's nothing that I said that people haven't said for thousands of years. I may say it in a different way or something, but what's important is your involvement. If you're going to be a spiritual activist in your own life and in the world, there's no separation, by the way, being a spiritual activist in your own life and the world. They're not separate. They're the same thing. So, yeah. So anyone have anything they want to say, or we'll go on and talk about manifestation a little. Yes, Pamela, please.
Yes. Hi. So I wanted to thank Rainbow, because it really gave me a look into where I've been at a different time. When I was younger, I would have those kinds of feelings and expressions, but I wouldn't know how to be in control of them like you were. And I would wind up crying and just being very full of expression. And I think it was scary. My voice would go up, and, I'm amazed at the ability to express what you expressed in the way you expressed it. Thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you. That's lovely. So,
Michael, Cheryl.
Carol?
Cheryl. You can unmute yourself, Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Yeah.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, Michael. I really want to thank Rainbow, first of all.
No.
That was so courageous and amazing. I was just like, just want to thank her so much. And also want to thank you for sharing how you started out with what sucked for you. That really sucked. And I just wanted to thank you for starting out to share that, because I signed up for the Way of the Mystic program, and it's anxiety provoking to do what Rainbow just did with full exposure. And for years and years, I've wanted to do these kinds of things, but it's just always been too scary, I think. And so there's a lot of anxiety going into the program with, leftover, oh, you're going to be having to talk in front of people, all that kind of stuff. So you sharing that at the beginning, it was like, I don't know, I was just in kind of relaxed place, and I was like, wow, he's sharing, you're so just yourself and real, and just sharing what just happened to you with us. It feels like this is totally, we're so present there that it made me relax and go, well, it feels very home. you know, a real feeling of that you could be home. And that Rainbow said that this is home, and that she's even less now what they wanted her to be than she ever was. I totally am experiencing that too. And so it's just wonderful. So I'm really looking forward to starting the program. And thank you so much for being here and doing what you do, and that it's here. It's just, it seems like I just arrived. It's like, how did you all of a sudden get here where this is, you're doing it and it's okay. And I'm just like, thank you, God, because however it evolved to be here now, I mean, look at now. Wow. Now is so wow that, you know, whatever's happening, you got to go, yes, here I am. I guess I did say I'd come here for this. I get, because here I am.
Yeah.
Okay, carry on. Chop the water, chop the wood, really. Carry the water. So thank you.
I'm thrilled that you're in the program, Cheryl. Thank you. And you know, it's really important. We do create a safe space in the program for people. And you know, the way of the mystic is, like I said, 7 weeks. We'll have 3 coaching sessions, so that'll include the advanced mystics, which is a 6-month commitment. That's when you're really ready to go deep, and you've kind of gotten your meditation practice. I want to also say that if anyone signs up in the next 48 hours, I'm going to throw in the 2-day deep dive meditation retreat that's coming up in February. So just to give you a little incentive, yeah, that will also, between now and whatever 48 hours is, we'll figure that out 48 hours from now, but I just do it now. If you're called to do it, I'd love to have you participate. We have a wonderful group that's coming together, and yeah, we'll definitely go deeper than this is just a little taste of what we do, really. So thank you. Yeah. And I love the contribution that Rainbow made. I just want to underline what you're saying. You know, the kind of people that you are that will hold space and sit with somebody, that's the kind of people that show up for this program. People who you know, really want to connect, and the kind of healing that takes place where there's nothing that you need to get. There's nothing that you need to prove. There's nothing that you need to fix. There's nothing that you need to do other than just show up. It's really, you know, we're creating a co-creation. So, you know, in the way of the mystic, we look at how to self-regulate ourselves. So, you know, Rainbow was showing an example of what it is to, she was coming back to her body. She was self-regulating herself. That's an example of being self-regulated. Then there's how do we co-regulate with another? You know, we're really down and someone's up, and we find that. But it's even different when you have, particularly in the advanced course, when you have this opportunity to do communal regulation, because it's amazing how somebody will say something or do some work, and 5 other people will have a huge breakthrough in their life out of it, because it's, you know, we're keeping a safe space. And again, there's nothing broken about you that needs to be fixed. This is not the course to get fixed 101. You know, it's really an opportunity to meet yourself more fully and meet your own magnificence and your own beauty and your own soul, and to discover what it is you're here for. We're all here at this time, you know, for a purpose, but we're so busy grasping at things, trying to get somewhere, that we don't realize that we can slow down and actually be here. And that's a pretty amazing place to be on a Saturday afternoon, evening, whatever it is, you know, just being here is so much. I think it was Hegel that said that. Shortest thing he ever wrote, being here is so much, you know, presencing, witnessing, being here. Great. Any other comments before I launch into something else. Taylor, we got anybody with their hand up? Or
Oh, hi. Can you hear me?
hi, Mai.
Hello, hi. No, I just like wanted to ask, you know, I'm really trying to be present, and I'm trying to sit down with my emotions, but I feel, nothing's coming up. Like, it's just like so frozen that sometimes like maybe there's fear behind it because like I've never felt my emotions before. So I just wanted to know, like, how can I be more present, or like maybe I'm too anxious about the outcome or something like that. So I just wanted to get more clear on how to be more present with myself, or present, because like I feel like I still have a lot of pain from the past. Is that what you mean when you're saying that, we don't have to go to the past, and instead like just live and be present in the now? So
No, that's not exactly what I'm
okay.
saying. But let me just say a few things about what you said. So feeling nothing is feeling something.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it's one of the most important things to feel. To know that you're numb in a particular
Mm-hmm.
area is information that's very important.
Mm-hmm.
So that right there is already a breakthrough. We're not
Okay.
trying to fix anything. We're trying
Okay.
to become whole. So when you feel nothing, like many people can't feel their emotions, many people are numb in their body,
Mm-hmm.
And that's because we have an intelligent nervous system that has protected us. So what there is to do is just be grateful for what remains hidden and be grateful for what is seen, because it's what's happening right now.
Okay.
So we're not trying to get anywhere. I know,
Okay.
you think
That's what
maybe
you're
I'm going
saying.
to turn that around and say, okay, here's where we're really getting to. I was
Right,
just
right,
kidding.
right.
No, I mean, there's nowhere to get
Okay.
to.
I see, I see, I see. Yeah. And that's what you're
But
saying, like be patient with, with what's happening now, and not like kind of condemn yourself for not feeling anything.
there's no not condemning or not doing anything. You just notice there's a desire to not do something or to do something.
Okay.
There's really
I see.
there's really just being with what's happening, what's occurring. And if nothing
Okay.
is occurring, then that's what's occurring, and that's important information.
Okay.
If you're
I
not
see.
feeling anything, that's important information. Then
Mm-hmm.
we explore that, but we explore
Okay.
that in present time. So
In
your
the present
question
time.
is a really important question, because sometimes we just think there's nothing. Well, nothing is something to pay attention to.
Okay.
Because
I see.
something is always moving. Emotions are always moving. They're the fabric of relationship. The
Okay.
body is always, there's movement.
Okay.
Most of us, the mind is moving all the time. That's why we
Exactly.
the body and the emotions.
Oh, okay. That's exactly what's happening. I think like the
Yeah,
mind's too busy. Yeah.
Yes, I see. It's good. So, if there was anything I would say to you is just bring your attention back to your body and to your breath, and maybe
Breath. Okay.
practice some sitting. That would be a good thing. Just sitting with whatever comes up.
Okay. I see. Thank you.
I think that people want to change the world, and perhaps the people who have changed the world in big ways have often done a lot of nothing. People like Gandhi or Martin Luther King, or all the great spiritual teachers spend a lot of time doing nothing, allowing themselves to be in that place. I want to make sure we have time to do another journey, so we can actually get into nothing a little bit.
Okay. Good.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Mai. Wonderful. Hope you join us here. So, okay, so I told you about the courses and the deep dive meditation. and most people have a challenge with meditation. Um, you know, they'll start it and then they'll say, well, it's not moving fast enough, or I'm not getting anything, or it was really good for a while. I want to get back to where I was when I was really calm and patient. Let me tell you something. I've been meditating a long time. The more space you make, the more expansive your interior awareness, the more shit comes up. Excuse my French, mad. It comes up, you know, because you've made room for it now. And it says, oh, it's safe. I can show my abandonment. I can show my horror. I can show my fear. I can feel, you know, those things come up. They come up to be loved. They come up to be healed. Healed means be whole. Okay? All right. Okay. I have a lot of other things I could talk about here, but I want to let's see, what was I going to do? I want to do a journey. Let's see, sometimes I make them up on the spot. I like the one I did. Some of you were here last week, but let me just see what Spirit says. Let's just get into a meditative state. We'll see where we go. But I think I want to connect with the void and our soul just a bit. So if you can just feel your feet on the floor again, let's get into a meditative state. Just notice your breath. Notice how your breathing affects your body. How does it affect your face? And your shoulders. And just as you breathe, just notice your body, your hands, and your feet and legs. And just let any thoughts go. Let feelings just pass. Feel them, let them go. I want to imagine, just close your eyes if they're not closed. Imagine yourself entering into a totally dark space. You can't see anything. And just feel what you feel in the blackness of that space. And feel that space expanding outward through the room you're sitting in, through the house or apartment you're in, out into the nature around you or the neighborhood, to the state or province or borough, whatever your area you're in. Just feel that blackness, just absorbing everything, that everything is just going black. Like a total power outage, just everything's black. And just imagine that blackness absorbing everything around you, the entire earth, out into the Milky Way, into the cosmos, all the way out to the very edges and beyond of the universe. And feel the intense blackness of the entire universe closing in on you, just absorbing you into the blackness. And let yourself just be absorbed. Your thoughts, your body, your emotions, until even you are just part of this blackness. And feel the extent, the omnipresence of it. Complete darkness, nothingness. And I want you to imagine now an enormous explosion of light and fire, like a huge campfire blowing up in the darkness. And that there's sparks, and you become one of those sparks. And just see yourself as a point of light. And you're on a journey. And you're journeying into the year 2021. You've actually been here for a while, but you're journeying into your soul, and it's 2021, and you're about to enter the world. And you have instructions from the light of why you're here. And in this huge darkness, being this spark of light from the big burst of light, I want you to say hello to the light. And listen and ask it, why am I coming here at this time? What is my destiny, my purpose for being here at this time? And listen with your whole body as it emerges, with your emotions, with your mind. What's the difference that you came here to make in the world? Don't worry about the barriers or the reasons why. Just why. Why are you here? What are you going to do with the precious life you've been given right now? Allowing yourself to take that in and thank the larger light, the source of creation. And the darkness around you is infinite possibility, but you're here with a divine purpose. Your light. Your light for this time in the world. You're bringing back as you allow yourself to be this light coming back into your chair. Into the room, the home that you're in. Feeling the gratitude of knowing at least a piece of why you're here. And take a moment just to see, well, with that spark, how does it ignite my life? How does it ignite my life? Not what am I supposed to do? That will unfold in the flow of the river. Just being that purpose, that why I'm here. And allow yourself to take a few more breaths. Perhaps you want to write something down as you slowly bring yourself back. Bringing yourself back into the room, into this time. with this new spark from your soul. You may want to stretch a little. Yeah. Okay, let's open it up for a few shares. We're getting already close to the end. Time flies when you're having fun, eh? Anyone want to share anything? Yes, Janie, sure.
I think maybe similar to Rainbow, that this part of me that is raising my hand, it wants to show up to help that part of me that is like, no, I don't want to be seen, and I'll do everything possible. So I just got really clear. Part of being here is just showing up for all those frozen parts. Ooh, and like Rainbow, I can feel like the trembling in my body is just like, it's overwhelming and intense. And yet there's also that part of me that I can become aware of that's like, it's okay. Just, so I'm thanking Rainbow too, for bringing all that she brought forward, because that's in all of us. And yeah, I just want to keep showing up, Michael. That feels like my work, because I part of me just wants to stop what I'm considering all this nonsense and healing and just get to business and say, just start living your life. That's what people will say. Just like stop over analyzing and trying to, you've been doing this your whole life. And it's true. And it's apparently not done because I still have so much fear in my body. I can really feel whenever we start getting quiet, I can literally feel my entire nervous system like buzzing. Zzz. And what it actually takes just for me to go, it's okay, and stay still is huge.
Yeah.
So I'm just really pleased that I'm here and I'm showing up and I'm still continuing to do this work in spite of all the noise and all the background from me and everybody else.
It's beautiful, Janie. So beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, did you read my article in this month's newsletter, or do you get it?
I have not yet.
On fear and awakening, so you might want to check it out. Yeah. Again, it's not to get rid of the fear. It's to befriend the fear and to honor the fear. And fear, I wrote a fairly long article on it, but it's a really incredible emotion because it catalyzes our senses. It awakens us. It brings us into presence. I mean, there's so much that fear gives us. We want to push it away and we suppress it, but it's really such a magnificent gift. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it shows us the edges of the boundaries of our narrative. And so all there is to allow ourselves to integrate, and it's the old fear that's frozen, but I have fear come up all the time. And so that's a normal reaction. Oh, time to be alert,
Well, I like what you said before about how to start presencing ourselves with whatever arises. And like you had your reaction response and sat yourself down, it's like, okay, coming back to that again and again and again. But it's hopeful to think that I know intellectually there's that, that soul, that presence in me that knows, and tapping into that often enough to trust that it's there.
Yeah. I think the most difficult thing to be with is ourself. We'll do everything to avoid it.
Uh-huh. Well, you're creating a great space to do this in. I can feel it, because I know for many of us, these groups are just, they're terrifying.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of us, it is being seen. And then, whew, it's like taking up too much space. So it's good practice.
Yeah. You reminded me of a short poem by Basho, the Japanese poet. He says, "Why are you afraid?" No, wait a minute. Let me try to remember how it goes. Sorry, I just forgot it. I think I've got it. It's short, but I'm just trying to remember if that's the right way it went. Why are you afraid? He says, why are you afraid? He says, because everything you do and say is about yourself, and there isn't one. Yeah.
Woof.
Very Japanese.
Wait, what's his name again? Basho?
Basho, B-A-S-H-O.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Can't wait to be in the course with you. Exciting. Yeah. Okay, shall I go on, or do we have any hands up? Taylor, how are we doing? I could.
No, we look good. You can
Okay.
go on.
I did a thing last week that I wanted to do with you, a shamanic guide to manifestation, and I'm going to do it in about 5 minutes. So I just had a download of 10 ways to manifest, given that we were doing it on the new year originally. So first one is to use all of your senses, to be specific. When you're wanting to manifest something, you bring all your senses into you see it, you feel it, you taste it, it's embodied, it's envisioned. A shaman or a mystic will see it and as already happening, that it's not something in the future, that it's already happening as it's happened. The second one is, when we're manifesting something, there's a habitual thing that many people do is, I want to quit being afraid. I want to stop overeating. I want to, and it's all in the negative. So when you're making a commitment to manifest something, you want to frame it in positive language. You know, I'm 170 pounds, or I'm 120 pounds, and I'm vibrant, and I see myself, you know, playing volleyball on the beach or whatever. You know, not like I'm not overweight anymore. I mean, really, come on. But we do things like that. Another thing is, there's a person, you know, you don't have to think of these as mystical or shamanic. I mean, they're very practical too. There's a guy named Simon Sinek that talks about having a why. And this is, for me, really important. Sinek, S-I-N-E-C-K, has a wonderful, like, 18-minute video on finding your why. And our soul has a why, you know, and it's really to continue to check into that place, that point of light, you know, that is who we are. It's like, why? We're so busy without the outer world. What, you know, what do I want? How do I want to do this? What do I need to do? You know, but not coming from this place of, why am I doing it? You know, I had a great conversation with someone last night. She's on this call. And we were talking about spiritual activism and how, you know, we want to do these great things in the world, and we want to get these skills in order to get there. And we want to do all of this so we can finally do the thing we're here to do. No, you do the thing you're here to do now, because when you're healing your interior, you're healing the world, you're touching the world. You really, you know, the divine law is not two. So when you heal something, you know, in your relationship with your partner, you know, you heal it in you. You don't try to fix them. We have all these things, you know, I have almost the perfect partner. If he would only, if she would only do this. We have these ideals we set up, you know. So we're not present because we're not present with the person that's here. We want the ideal. So we go in there and we work on that way that we have an ideal that somebody should be, so, you know, that they'd be the perfect partner, rather than knowing you have the perfect partner because they just triggered in you the very thing that you need to work on, which is putting your shit on somebody else. So looking at your why, use your community. That's the fifth one, is don't be a lone ranger. A shaman is never a shaman because they call themselves a shaman. Be wary of someone who puts a label out, shaman in practice. Really. That's why I don't use the word shamanism very much anymore. Your community calls you, you're a shaman, you're a mystic, you're a leader. You don't call yourself that. That's something that's bestowed on you because you have supported and been supported by a community. You are honoring your ancestors, you're honoring your community, you're honoring your family. So you want to manifest something, you have so many people that are there supporting you, including the ones that have put you down and said, you're so stupid, you're so fat, you're so this, you're so that, why don't you do this, why don't you do that? They're teaching you about your will, your spine, your connection with the divine. You learn that in community, all of that. Okay, fifth one, I said 5 minutes, didn't I? Attend to and integrate the embodied beliefs. So these firmly held beliefs we have, which are frozen in the past, we can't step over them. There's so much in the new age healing world. There's so much spiritual bypass going on. It's, you know, so many ways that we push things down in the name of I'm spiritual that way. You know, I'm just loving. Yeah. Well, he's an asshole, but you know, I'm loving. So just, yeah. Ground your commitment in your current capacity. So you've heard me talk about capacity. Knowing your capacity and the boundaries of your capacity helps you to expand those boundaries. It's not to limit you when you're looking at what you're going to manifest. But let's say money. Say I said, I want to make $1 million this year. And the most I've ever made is $30,000 a year. That is not grounded in your capacity. What there is to do is look at the barriers you have, and you can look at $1 million barriers, but you need to attend to the story that you have about money and your relationship to money. So that's a capacity issue. Every breakdown, this is the seventh one, every breakdown is an opportunity for expanding your capacity. Every difficulty, like the way we talked about, it's an opportunity to expand our capacity. Number 8, have you ever seen a real healer that was grumpy all the time? No, healers have fun. They love life. They are exuberant. Look at Thich Nhat Hanh. Oh, I just love my little anger. I love my little anger. Yeah. Or Desmond Tutu. You know, he's just laughing all the time. You sit with him and he laughs and you're enlightened. What is that? Have fun with it. This terminal seriousness that we take on in the growth industry makes me want to throw up. If you're not having fun, you're not doing your work. So celebrate. That's the 9th one. Be grateful for all the little successes that you get. So if we're talking about manifesting, be grateful for the successes along the way. And another thing is track your progress and forgive yourself. My friend Louis Epstein used to always say, he passed away some years ago, but all he ever said was, love yourself and forgive. That's one of the basic, just love everything. Ram Dass always said, just love everything and forgive. Just love everything and forgive. So those are my 10 manifestation practices. If you want to manifest something into the world. Oh my goodness, it's almost time to leave. And I just want to acknowledge each and every one of you who stayed here for 2 hours to listen to my rant. I hope it made some difference in your life. That's what my commitment is, that it does that. And, I know you, and even though many of you I've never met and even talked to, I know you. I know you as someone who wants to make a difference with your life. I know you as someone who cares. I know you as someone who in your heart of hearts know that there's something that you're here for, that you came to do. And at this particular time, in the transformation and evolution of what it means to be human, you play a part. You do play a part. And the work that you do for everyone. Really. You get that? I hope you do. Yeah. Thank you. So, just to say, I hope you will join us in the Way of the Mystic. If you think you're ready to do the advanced course, there are applications for that. We limit the number of people to under 20 or 25 max. But that's a deeper dive. But it's an amazing space to be with people who are like you, committed to making a difference with your life and really birthing a new humanity into the world, a world that works for everyone with no one and nothing left out. So that's what we're up to. And I just want to thank each and every one of you. I want to thank your ancestors for what they've contributed to you. You may not know, but you've got hundreds of thousands of years of ancestry behind you that's egging you on and saying, yeah, do it. Let's do it. Let's be real. Let's get connected. Remember the divine law, not to. Anytime there's separation, that's not the divine law. That's not what your soul came here for. So, yeah. Taylor, is there anything I need to say that I've forgotten to say?
I think that Jill had wanted to say something. Jill, do you want to unmute yourself, or did Michael go over that?
Jill?
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Mike, for this incredible 2 hours. Beautiful. I'm hearing a lot of manifesting coach, and I'm hearing a lot from astrologers and some avatars that in 5D or in the age of Aquarius, that some of our more personal goal setting manifestations is going to become a lot less important than setting global manifestation goals, looking at peace or love or joy or whatever. And I'm just wondering what your thoughts might be on that. And that's kind of an arbitrary question, but I'm just wondering what you think, Michael.
I have very different thoughts about that. I don't think there's a difference between the two. If you're in,
that's a good way to put it.
If you're in non-duality, there is no difference. The goals you set for yourself are the goals for humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty simple.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Good.
And a great question for coming to the end here. So
no duality.
if you need anything, write me at support@welloflight. If you're on the edge and want to know, want me to push you a little bit, you can schedule a short call with me on the website. Yeah, so just let me know what you need. I'm just here to love you and serve you. So thank you so much for your time and for being here.
Thank you.
And Taylor, would you unmute everyone so they can all say goodbye to each other?
I think first Carol wants to say something and then
okay, great. Hi, Carol.
Hi, thank you, Michael. I so enjoyed this. And it's a very short question. I have studied with you and other shamanic teachers and mediumship and so on and meditation for a number of years. And I did sign up for the Wave Mystic course, but now I'm wondering, should I dive deeper into your longer course and what, you haven't really talked as much about that.
Yeah, you should apply for it and set up a call with me. That's the best thing. It's definitely a deeper dive. There are people who are ready that haven't done it. There are people also in the Way of the Mystic that are doing both courses.
Both, you could do both.
Yeah. As long as you have a solid meditation practice and I know you've done a lot of work. So yeah, that's a possibility also. So.
Well, like Rainbow and others, I sometimes hesitate to speak up, but I thought there might be others like me that are wondering that same thing.
There always are. It's true.
Aren't there though?
Yeah.
This was wonderful. I will put in the application, maybe have a talk with you then.
Okay.
Thank you. And thank you to everybody here.
Blessings. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Let's unmute so we can all say goodbye. Okay. I love the chorus of voices.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you all.
Take care.
I love you, Michael.
Be well, everyone.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Rainbow.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Love to you all.
Thank you.
That's so much fun. Bye.